Shankaram Shabhuma Shankararya Pitha Sadgurun Shuddha Sattva Bhasuran Suvartmanita Bhusuran Sarva Bhuta Saukhyadan Khamakaran Yatishwara.
Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. So I'll read the first shloka. Before that, Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavat Padam Shankaram Lokashankaram Shankarupena Matchittam Panki Kratama Bhutyaya Kinkari Yasya Samaya Shankaracharyamashraya. So now the first shloka of this work, Svatmanirupanam. Shri Guru Charana Dvandvam Vandeham Matita Dussaha Dvandvam Rantigrahopa Shantim Pam Sumayam Yasya Bhasita Matanute. So the meaning of this first shloka itself contains a lot of Vedantic thoughts. So he says, the Acharya Shankaracharya says, Shri Guru Charana Dvandvam. So Vandeham. So I prostrate to the 2 feet, that is Padadvandvam, that is to the 2 holy feet of my Guru, Shri Guru, and he gives some qualifications, attributes to that Pada, Shri Guru Pada. What are those qualifications? Machita Dussaha Dvandvam. Dvandvam is duality, samsara. Samsara is full of duality, that is duality in the sense of Jara Mrityu, Mana Apamana, Sukha Dukha, and all that. So all these dvandvas are there in the samsara. So Machita Dussaha Dvandvam. Dussaha is, it is impossible to bear. It's impossible to experience. The experience itself is so very difficult. So it is so, the difficulty is that affliction of the samsara is so difficult to even imagine. So that kind of samsara, the Guru Charana Dvandva has Machita. Machita means it has churned, in the sense it has made it impossible to give any difficulty to the persons who have approached and taken refuge in the feet of the Guru. So the Guru's feet are so powerful that they nullify the effects of this samsara. Machita Dussaha Dvandvam. Then another qualification is adding, Bhranti Grahopa Shantim Pamsumayam Yasya Bhajitam Atanute. So here he says the Guru Charana Dvandvam is having another very, very important and powerful characteristic. What is that? It is a kind of a bhasma, and that bhasma is used by the sorcerers, that is the people who are those people who are Mayavis and all that. Those people, they use this bhasma to uproot or to quell the effects of the graha, that is evil spirits. So graha is an evil spirit, and the evil spirit here in this case is Bhranti. So the Bhranti is the ignorance, the taking wrongly the body-mind complex to be real and to be our own selves, and experiencing the world to be real. So that is the Bhranti. So that Brahma is the Graha. Graha means it is a, we have heard like Balagraha and all that. So Graha is an evil spirit. So that evil spirit is called Bhranti, and the Guru Charana Dvandvam has the power to send away or to uproot or to Uchatanam. That's the word they use in these circumstances. So Uchatanam of this Bhranti Graha, and for that they use Bhasma. So when they say that the evil spirits can't bear the effect of Bhasma, so they run away from there. So this Bhasma, and that Bhasma is the powder that is there in the Guru's Charana. So Guru Charana, Pada Charana, Dhuli, and all that we have known that very well. So here that Guru Pada Dhuli is this Pamsu is Dhuli, Pada Dhuli, and that Guru Pada Dhuli is this Bhasma, which will drive away the evil spirit called Bhranti from our minds. So this is the first shloka. Shri Guru Charana Dvandvam Vandeham Machita Dussaha Dvandvam Bhranti Grahopashantim Pamsumayam Yasya Bhajitam Atanute. So now we will go to this shloka number 11. So here in that up to 11 we have seen. So here the topic is the negation of the 5 koshas. The 5 koshas are the ones that the kosha means covering. So just like a person can wear 4 or 5 garments upon his body, like for example in places like Kashmir and all that, we can see because it's so cold, they wear several layers of clothing. So like that, 5 koshas are there admitted in the Vedanta Shastra, which are covering our true self, that is what we really are, that is covered by these 5 koshas. And the 5 koshas are called Annamaya kosha, which is the gross body, which is the Sthula Shariram. Everybody is experiencing the Shariram so very clearly. And then the second one, inside that is the Pranamaya kosha, where the Prana, Apana, Vyana, Udana, Samana, the Pancha Pranas are there, the life force which is maintaining the body. So that is the next kosha. And within that kosha is the Manomaya kosha, which we call Manas Samanya. That Manas, which has got all the properties of Arishad Varga, like Kama, Sankalpa, Bhaya, everything, all these things are there in that. And then after that is the Vijnanamaya kosha, which is called Buddhi. And then beyond that is the Anandamaya kosha, where the Ahankara is also there. So these are the 5 koshas which are covering our true self. And our task in front of us is to go beyond the 5 koshas and recognize the Atman within us, and then identify with the Atman and disidentify with the 5 koshas. So this is the idea. So in that, the Annamaya kosha has been negated, the Pranamaya kosha has been negated, then the Manomaya kosha is also negated, and now the next one, Vijnanamaya kosha, is going to be negated. So in all these cases, the negation, while doing the negation, there are yuktis available, and the yuktis are that the Annamaya kosha is not going to remain forever, whereas the Atman is the one which remains forever. So that way, this Annamaya kosha is not the Atman. So that is the yukti there. And then the Annamaya kosha is also endowed with so many vikaras, like it is born, and then it grows, and then it grows further, and then the decaying starts, and then the final end also comes. So this whole process is called these 6 forms of vikaras, or Shadbhava vikara. And these 6 forms of vikaras, that is the transformations that the body undergoes, they are given names also: Jayate, Asti, Vardhate, Viparinamate, Apakshiyate, and Nashyate. So Jayate is the child is born first, and then after the child is born only, the child is counted as somebody in the family or in the society. So that's why it is called the Asti is coming after the Jayate, after birth, and then Vardhate, it grows, and then Viparinamate. Viparinama is the transformations which are very, very clearly visible, like gray hair and wrinkles in the body and things like that. And then Apakshiyate. So the Apakshaya state is the one where the degeneration sets in so very clearly that there is a point of no return. So this cannot be brought back to Yavanavastha at all. And then after this Apakshaya, the Nasha happens, the Nasha is death. So these 6 vikaras are there in the body, whereas the Atman is Nirvikari. So we have to apply this yukti and see very clearly that I am not the body. And then when coming to the Pranamaya kosha, there also the 5 pranas are there, and which is all jada only, and Atman is Chaitanyam, body is also jada, so the prana is also jada only, and there also vikaras are there, and so that's why it's also not the Atman. And then the Manomaya kosha, in Manas also, Sankalpa, Vikalpa, and so many vrittis are there. So these vrittis are the vikaras of the mind only. So whereas the Atman is Nirvikara Swarupam, and then the Manas also is existing during a particular time, and it is non-existent or not experienced during the deep sleep state. So only in the waking state and the dream state we experience the mind, whereas in the deep sleep state, the mind is not experienced at all. Whereas the Atman is there always without going out of experience at all. So the Atman is distinct from the mind, and this way, the mind is not the Atman, it is Anatman. And also the mind is Jada, and also the mind, along with all the 5 koshas, are made up of the Pancha Bhutas only, so it is not the Atman. So that is the yukti given there. And after that is the Vijnanamaya kosha. So now we are entering into that Vijnanamaya kosha Nirakaranam. And the fruit of the Nirakaranam of all the 5 koshas has been stated in this work itself as one attains the Atmaswarupams, and then one becomes Mukta. That is, one becomes liberated from samsara. So that is the fruit given there. So now we are entering into the Vijnanamaya kosha Nirakaranam. That is the sloka number 12. Idanim Vijnanamaya Koshasya api Anatmatvam Sadhayati. So now the Vijnanamaya Kosha is also being established or reasoned to conclude that it is also not the Atman. Suptau Swayam Vilina Bodhe Vyapta Kalevaram Sakalam Vijnana Shabda Vachya Chit Pratibimba Nat Buddhirapi Atma. So this is the shloka number 12. So here, Suptau Swayam Vilina. So in deep sleep state, this Vijnanamaya Kosha, which is called the Buddhi, it is also Vilina, that is, it is also in Laya state, or it is resolved into its cause. So that is also not experienced in this deep sleep state. Bodhe Vyapta. When a person wakes up from deep sleep, then this Vijnanamaya Kosha, that is the Buddhi, is there. It pervades the whole body from head to toe. It pervades the whole body. Vyapta Kalevaram. Kalevaram is body. Sakalam. The Sakalam Kalevaram Vyapta. Vijnana Shabda Vachya. It is called Vijnanamaya Kosha. Chit Pratibimba na Buddhihi api Atma. So Chit Pratibimba. Chit is the pure consciousness, and Pratibimba is the reflection. So this Buddhi is nothing but a reflection of the consciousness, but not really consciousness at all. So this is the shloka for saying that the Buddhi is also not Atma. In the commentary, the Acharya says, Suptau iti, Suptau Sushupti Avasthayam Swarupena Vilina Layam Prapta Layam Prapta Bhavati. So in the deep sleep state, Sushupti state, this Vijnanamaya Kosha or the Buddhi is completely lapsed. It has resolved. It is not active at all. It is not experienced at all. Layam Prapta, that's why it's called Laya Avastha of the Buddhi. Then Bodhecha Jagradavasthayam Sakalam Nakashika Paryantam Kalevaram Shariram Vyapta Vyapya Tishtati. When the person wakes up, this Buddhi also wakes up, and then it pervades the whole body from head to toe, and it is completely available everywhere throughout the body. That is why we experience all pain and pleasure in the body and all that through this Buddhi. Of course, it is through the Indriyas only, but then Indriyas give the information to the Buddhi, and so through the Buddhi we become Karta, Bhokta and all that. So Vyapta, Vyapit Tishtati. Then Vijnana Shabda Vachya, it is called Vijnana Shabda Abhideya. The name given to this kosha is Vijnana, Vijnanamaya Kosha in the Shastra. Buddhi Rapi, that's called Buddhi. Chit Pratibimba, Yasyam, Chit Chaitanyam, Pratibimba, Pratibimbita, Yati, Pratibimbatam Yati, Sa Atma na Bhavati. So he says this is Chit Chaitanyam. Chit is Chaitanyam. So we have to make a distinction between Chit and Chittam. Chit is pure consciousness, whereas Chittam is Manas or Buddhi. So these two words will be used very, very often in the Vedanta Shastra. So we have to be carefully distinguishing between Chit and Chittam. So Chit is purely pure consciousness, that is the Atma, whereas Chittam is the mind. That's why we say Chitta Shuddhi and all that. Atman is ever pure, so Atman doesn't need any Shuddhi at all, whereas Chitta Shuddhi is the one which we use because Chitta Kalushyam is there, so Chittam has to be cleansed. But then the Atma is never ever polluted or sullied, so it is always pure. So Chitta is Atman and Chittam is Buddhi, or it is also used in the form of in the sense of Manas also, but that is immaterial now. So Chit Chaitanyam Pratibimbitam Yati. So Pratibimbatam Yati. So this Chit Chaitanyam gets reflected in the Buddhi, because this Buddhi is a very, very special instrument, and it is made also very, very specially. In the sense, even though it is made up of the Panchabhutas, it is so subtle, it is something like the mirror, the difference between a mirror and the granite stone. An ordinary granite stone which is not polished cannot take any reflections at all. Whereas a polished granite stone or a polished mirror will definitely capture the reflection. So in the same way, this Buddhi, even though it is made up of Panchabhutas, it is made in such a way by Prakriti that it captures the Chaitanyam of the Atman, and it also passes off as a sentient entity, whereas it is a Jada entity only, but then it gets to be mistaken to be a sentient entity because of this reflection phenomenon. then pratibimbitam yati, sa atma na bhavati. So that chit is chaitanyam, is pure consciousness, which is original consciousness, whereas the pratibimba is the reflection, which is only a copy. It is not a original, it is only a copy, so it cannot be the original atma. So this is the yukti with which the Vijnanamaya kosha is negated as anatma. Suptau swayam vilina bodhe vyapta kalebaram sakalam Vijnana Shabdavachya Chit Pratibimba Na Buddhirapi Atma. Now we are entering into the Anandamaya Kosha, that is the next one. Idanim Anandamaya Koshasya Anatmatvam Pratipadayati. So now the Anandamaya Kosha, which is the last Kosha, which is the closest to the Atman and which is the subtlest when compared to the other koshas. So in the order of subtlety, from the grossest, that is the Sthula Shariram, that is the body, gross body, the subtlety starts. So the Pranamaya Kosha is subtler than the Annamaya Kosha. So its grossness is also less. Then Manomaya Kosha is still subtler. Then the Vijnanamaya Kosha is further subtler, and the Anandamaya Kosha is the subtlest. It is the most Sukshma, Atyanta Sukshmam, which is closest to the Atman. And Atman is Sukshmat Sukshmataram. Atman is even more subtler than the Buddhi. So, sorry, Anandamaya Kosha. So, Suptigataihi Sukha Leshaihi Abhimanute Yaha Sukhi Bhavami iti Ananda Kosha Nama So Ahankaraha Katam Bhaved Atma. So, this is the 13th sloka. So, the sloka means the words in the sloka Suptigataihi Sukha Leshaihi. So, in this deep sleep, we do experience a lot of tranquility, peace, and all that. So it is definitely joy. So only to experience that joy, we go to sleep. All of us long to go to sleep only because of this joy is available. So suptigataihi sukha leshaihi abhimanute yaha sukhi bhavami iti. So this Anandamaya Kosha is the one which thinks that it is sukhi itself by view of by virtue of the contact of the Sushupti Gata Sukha. The Sukha in the Sushupti is captured by this Anandamaya Kosha, and it thinks that, or in the sense, that is the one which gives us the feeling that I slept happily. So I am very happy, or I was happy in the sleep state. Anandamaya Kosha Nama, so Ahankaraha Katam Bhaved Atma. So this Anandamaya Kosha, which is only having an abhimana of the Sukha of the deep sleep, that it is Sukhi. How can that be Atma? And now he is the author Acharya of Shankaracharya is introducing another very important concept of Ahankara. So this Ahankara, ego, that is also included in that is having the seat or the locus of this Ahankara is the Anandamaya Kosha. So that is how the Acharyas have placed this Ahankara in the Anandamaya Kosha. See, this Antakaranam is one dravyam, that is the Antakaranam is an instrument every jiva has. And that Antakaranam, it is called the Antakaranam because it is the inner instrument, whereas the other Indriyas, that is the Karmendriyas and the Jnanendriyas, are the Bahya Karnani. So they are all situated in the body, and they perform their actions by being in the body. Even though the Indriyas belong to the Sukshma Shariram, the Indriyas operate from the Sthula Shariram only through the orifices. It's called Golaka. So the ear that we see, or the two holes of nostrils we see, and the two holes in the ears that we see, they are not actually the Indriyam. It is only the locus or the organ, the physical organ through which this subtle Indriya operates. So this Ahankara is the one is given the seat in the Anandamaya Kosha, and this Antakaranam is divided into four functionally. It is not watertight or physical departmental kind of division. It is actually the functional division. So it is divided into Manas, Buddhi, Chittam, and Ahankara. So all these have got separate functions to perform. So this Ahankara is the one which is subtlest, and it is placed in the Anandamaya Kosha. So now we will get into the commentary. Suptigataihi Suptigataihi Sukhaleshaihi Sushuptau anubhuyamanam sukhaleshaihi sukhi bhavami iti sukhamaham aswapsam iti yo abhimanute janati. So here suptigataihi sukhaleshaihi sushuptau anubhuyamana sukhaleshaihi. So the joy experienced in the sushupti is appropriated by this Anandamaya Kosha as I am Sukhi. So Sukhi Bhavami iti Sukhamaham Aswapsam iti yo abhimanute. See, this is the one which recalls in the upon waking that I slept happily. Then Janati. So this is the one which knows that Sukha Janati. Atmanandam Nama Koshaha. So this is called Janati Asau Atma Anandamaya Anandanama Koshaha. So this Kosha, this covering is called Anandamaya Kosha. This is called Ahankara Shabda Vachyaha. So Ahankaraha Atma Katham Bhaved. So this is the one which is called Ahankara also. So this Anandamaya Kosha is also called Ahankara. So Ahankara, Atma, Katham Bhaved. How can this Atma, Ahankara become the Atma? So here also that yukti that it is not active in sleep in the sense we cannot experience it in sleep. Like this Ahankara, the way it is experienced in the waking state and the dream state, it is not experienced that way in the deep sleep state. Because in every activity or in every thought, we have this Ahankara, I am doing this, I am thinking, I am getting this experience. So this I is there in every vritti of the waking or the deep or the dream state. Whereas in the deep sleep state, that I is not experienced in this way. So that way, this Ahankara, it also has got a Astamanam and Udayam. So it is not the Atma, which does not have Udayastamanam at all. So na bhavati ityartaha. Etena panchakoshatma Atma Kosha Anatmatva Nirakaranena, that is Panchakoshatmatva Nirakaranena, Tat Shruti Yukti Abhasa Pratipadita Bauddhadi Vadimata Nirakaranam Bodhyam. So here the Shastra looks at these Panchakoshas as also the Panchakosha Viveka, also as the method in which the non-Vedantic schools are refuted. So that is being that will be elaborately stated in the sequel in this commentary itself. So after all these 5 koshas have been negated as anatma, now the method of negating the other schools which are holding these panchakoshas as atma. So those schools hold these panchakoshas as atma, whereas Vedanta alone negates this as Atma and establishes the pure consciousness as the Atma. So now how that is, on what basis the other schools are refuted, keeping the Panchakoshas in view. So here, Tattat Shruti Yukti Abhasa Pratipadita. So the other schools, that is the non-Vedantic schools, they also take the support of the Shruti Vakyas, especially in the Taittiriya Upanishad, and they claim that even though they don't believe in that, in order to establish that their school of thought is correct, they try to convince the other people, that is the opponents from their point of view, that they are holding the correct view because their views are all established or having a basis on the Shruti itself. So this is how they use the Shruti and Yukti. They use the Shruti wrongly, and they use wrong Yuktis also to propound their theories. So here that is going to be established now. Or Tasmat Tata Annamayadi Atma Pratipadika Shrutayaha Taihi Tadvadeshu Niyujyante Tesham Ayam Ashayaha. So the other schools, they take resort to these Shruti Vakyas and they use them to propound their theories and try to convince others that their theory is correct. Niyujyante Tesham Ayam Ashayaha. So what do they try to say? So here the Acharya is now taking the Taittiriya Upanishad and showing the Vakyas from there and shows how the other schools wrongly use these Vakyas to their support. Yatova imani bhutani jayante iti anaya shrutya jagatkaranatvam kalu brahmanaha lakshanam pratipaditaha. So here the Vedantins see this Veda Vakya, that is Upanishad Vakya, Taittiriya Upanishad Vakyam, Yatova imani bhutani jayante. So what that says is, there is a source from which all these beings, the Panchabhutas and the beings, all living beings, they come out of that source, and then after coming out, they sustain in that source only, and ultimately when dissolution happens, they go into that source only. So Srishti, Sthiti, Laya, all these three things are being spoken of in this Shruti Vakyam. Yatova imani bhutani jayante, yena jatani jivanti, yat prayanti abhisamvishanti. So that is Brahman. So that's how the Shruti Vakyam is. So here he says, through this Shruti Vakyam, the Vedanta is establishing that Brahman is the Jagat Karana, whereas these people take it in a different way. So, and the Shruti Vakyas coming after that, the other schools are using it in a different way. Tacha tattat kosha brahmatva pratipadikabhi shrutihi shrutibhihi pratipadyate. So there they try to take this Shruti as the basis to claim that the Annamaya Kosha, Pranamaya Kosha, etc. or Koshas are really Atma. So that is how they do it. So how they do it, the commenting Acharya is establishing Tascha Shrutayaha Annam Brahmeti Vyajanati Tupakramya Anadhyeva Kal Vimani Bhutani Jayante Yena Jatani Jivanti Ityantena Annamayasya Brahmatvam. So they say that so these passages are there in the Upanishad itself. In each kosha, this kind of passages will come. So Annam Brahmeti Vyajanat, the Bhrigu, actually it happens in the Bhrigu Valli in the Taittiriya Upanishad. Bhrigu is the son of Varuna Muni, and that Varuna is an Atmajnani, is a Rishi. So this Bhrigu, wanting to know the Atma, he approaches his father in a very humble way and requests him to teach the Atman. So while doing that, the Acharya, the father, says that you do this vichara in this way, and he gives some hints how he has to do the vichara and how he has to try to find the Atma. So he says, Yatova imani bhutani jayante. So this has to be your template kind of passage through which you have to apply at every stage that whether the Atman corresponds to this or fits into this template. So here the Annam Brahmeti Vejanat, after applying the formula that Yatova imani bhutani jayante, it is from Annam only the beings are born, and with Annam only the beings survive also. We can't deny that. And then when the beings when they attain death, then also they get back to this Prakriti only. So this way, first the impression the person gets is, okay, then this Annamaya Kosha or Annam or the body, this can be taken to be the Atman or Brahman. But then Bhrigu comes to know that no, Atman cannot be that, because this Annamaya Sharira is subject to death and all that. So how can Brahman or Atman be subject to death? So that can't happen. So he gets back to his father for the next teaching. So this is how it proceeds there. So here, this particular passage is taken by the people who are the materialists, that is the Charvaka. Those people who say that the body alone is the Atma, they say that they take resort to this Shruti and says that look, the Shruti itself says that Yatova imani bhutani jayante, anadhyeva kal imani bhutani jayante, atena yena jatani jivanti. So this clearly applies to the body. So we take that body as the Atman. So this is the wrong application of the Shruti by them. So ityantena annamayasya brahmatvam. So they take that Annamaya Kosha as actually Brahman. Then prano brahmeti vyajanat is the next stage in the vichara sarani in the Taittiriya Upanishad. So the next state is the prano brahmeti vyajanat. Itupakramya pranadhyeva kal vimani bhutani jayante. So the prana is said to be the one with source from which the beings are born, and with prana alone they can sustain themselves, and they ultimately end up there in the prana itself. So in ityantena pranamayasya brahmatvam mano brahmeti vyajanat. Manasohyeva kal vimani bhutani jayante ityantena manomayasya. So then the same kind of yukti is used in the Manomaya Kosha, and there are some people who hold that the mind is the Atman. Some people hold prana is the Atman. They are called Hiranya Garbha or something like that. And this Manomaya Kosha also, these people also have a kind of a prabheda, a different class in the same materials only. So Mano Brahmeti Vyajanat, Manaso Heva Kalvimani Bhutani Jayante, Ityantena Manomayasya, Vignanam Brahmeti Vyajanat, Vignanadhyeva Kalvimani Bhutani Jayante, Ityantena Vignanameksya. So this Buddhi is also held by some people as the Atman. And so here in the Dakshinamurti Stotram, we would see that Deham pranam apindriyanyapi chalam buddhim cha shunyam viduho stri balandha jadopamastvahamiti bhranta bhishram vadinaha. So in that shloka, in that Deham pranam apindriyani cha buddhim cha shunyam viduho. So these are the 5 or 6 things where the wrong understanding of the Atman is held by various people. So this Deham as Atma is the Charvaka, then Prana is the Pranamaya as there's a different school, then Manomaya Kosha is different, taken as Atma by certain schools, and then Vijnanamaya Kosha. So the Vijnanamaya Kosha is taken by the Vijnanavadi Buddhists. So they have got the Kshanika Vijnanam, the momentary consciousness is Vijnana. So they hold that Vijnana to be the Atman. And beyond that is the Shunyavadins are there. So when all the 5 koshas are negated, a person experiences nothing in the beginning. And then when he goes to the Guru saying that, I experienced some nothingness, and then the Guru clarifies that you are the Sakshi of that nothingness, so you are not the nothingness. So that nothingness is the something which is Shunya, and these Shunyavadins take that as the Atman. So this is how the Vedantins see these things. So Kalvimani Bhutani Jayante, Vijnanadhyeva Kalvimani Bhutani Jayante Ityantena Vijnanamayasya, then Anando Brahmeti Vyajanat, Anandadhyeva Kalvimani Bhutani Jayante Ityetena Anandamayasya. Then there are some schools which hold this Anandamaya Kosha to be the ultimate Atman. Then Yuktayopi Tatra Pradarsyante Taihi Tachana Sambhavati. Then they add yuktis also. From their own point of view, they say they use some logic also to convince the others and to convince themselves that what they say is the Atman. Shrutinam Anyatha Tatparyat. So then the Vedantin doesn't accept all that. The Vedantin sees these Shruti Vakyas that these people quote as having a different meaning altogether, different purport altogether. So Pratikosha Upasanartha upasanarthatvate tasam tatra brahma drishtihi kartavya iti. So the Vedantins see these different koshas as being called as Atma only with a view to do some upasana there. That is, a person will have to do the upasana there in the Annamaya Kosha and the Pranamaya Kosha. In every stage, the Vedanta Jignasu has to do the Upasana, and then he has to go to the next Kosha. So, and there in each Upasana, there is a Phala also given there. That is how Vedantins see this, whereas the other schools appropriate the Vakyas without considering what is the purport of it. So they take only one set of Vakyas to their convenience, leaving out the others. So there is a mistake they do. Whereas the Vedantins see the whole of the Vedic corpus in a particular view. So these Vakyas are all for Upasanas. Then Yatha Shaligramadi Pratimadishu Vishnuvadi Buddhihi Tadvate Tasmat Bauddhadi Vadinaha Avidyavrita Drishtayaha iti prasangikam nirupitam. So here he says this upasana has to be done in the manner of the way we infuse the Vishnu Buddhi in Shaligrama or any Devata Buddhi in any Pratima. So the Pratima is only a stone. The Shaligrama is also a stone only. But then we infuse the Vishnu Buddhi and we do the upasana and we get a phalam also for that. So this can be very clearly seen in the Ganapati time, where we buy the Ganapati idol from the shop. It is only made of clay or some other material. And it is being bought by us like a commodity. We put it in a bag like a vegetable and bring it home. But then on the puja day, we do all the prana pratishtha and all that. We do the prarthana and all that. And then we do nevidyam and all that. And then we do prarthana. to give us Shatru with the Purushartham. So this is the way we do it. So that kind of buddhi in the Shaligrama or the Vigraha, these Panchakoshas have to be done upasana. And the Palam is also shown in the Veda itself. But then when such is the case, the other schools, non-Vedantic schools, are misusing the Veda Vyakyas, and that is why they are called avidya avrita drishtayaha. So they are enveloped by this avidya, and therefore they are not giving out the correct purport of the Vedantas and how they have to be rejected. So this is the prasangika. So by in the context, in this context, these 4 or 5 schools also have been refuted. So here we end this session. So now we have done the Panchakosha negation, Anatmatva Sthapanam. Then after that is the Shuddha Ananda, Shuddha Atma Swarupa. Then now we will recite the first shloka and then conclude this session. Shri Guru Charanadvandvam Vandeham Matita Dussahadvandvam Rantigrahopashantim Pamsumayam Yasya Bhasita Matanute Shastram Sharira Mimamsa Devastu Parameshwaraha Acharya Sankaracharya Santume Janma Janmani Vidyavinaya Sampannam Vitaragam Vivekinam Vande Vedanta Tattvajnam Vidushekara Bharati